Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Udy, and I'm going to be teaching you about single variable expressions. When we do our lessons in 9th grade math, we're going to have level 1 things, which are usually your definitions, and then level 2 things, which are solving basic problems, and then we'll get on to level 3 and level 4 that are a little more complex. So this first problem is a combination. First we have the definition. It says, an expression is a mathematical sentence which is a combination of numbers, variables, and operations. So if I look at this right here, I've got numbers. Let's see, there's a number. Oh, it's not going to write for me. There's a number. I've got letters. Look, I've got X's and Y's, and I've got operations. Your operations are your plus, your minus. Here's another plus, and it's kind of tricky to see, but there's actually a times in this too. And I'm going to kind of write it bigger. If you were to actually separate the 3 and the X here, it would have a times in between it. So this one has the operations plus, minus, and times. It doesn't have divide, which is the other operation. Our next definition is variable. Well, most of you probably already came to us knowing what a variable is. It's basically the letter in the problem. It represents something, the unknown number. Okay, so in this problem, my variables are X and Y. The next one is a coefficient. It says a number that's being multiplied by a variable. So I first find my variables. Well, here's an X. The coefficient is 2. Then I find this Y right here. The coefficient, and this is kind of tricky, it's actually this -4. Okay, then I come over here and find my next variable, which is X, and my coefficient is a -3. Those signs go with the numbers. Another way that you can look at this, and we'll be doing this more on problems in a few minutes, is if when you see this problem here, what I would do is actually change the minus to plus, if I can write, plus a negative, and plus a negative. Sorry, my pen's not writing very good. But then it's a little bit easier to see that, hey, that is a -4 coefficient and that is a -3 coefficient. Okay, a constant. What is a constant? It says a number that is not being multiplied by a variable. So it's the one that doesn't have the letters with it. Well, there's a 3 that doesn't have a letter, and there's a 7 that doesn't have a letter. So the 3 and the 7 are your constants. Operation, we just talked about this one. Addition, subtraction, and that tricky multiplication that's in between each of these right here. The other operation is division, and in this problem there is no division. Terms. Terms are kind of tricky. So what we're going to do when we do the terms is we are going to separate this like I did a minute ago, and I am going to change this to plus a negative and plus a negative, because then it makes it a little bit easier where it says that it's the parts of the expressions that are separated by addition. Okay, so what does that look like? Well, 3 is a term, 2x is a term, -4y is a term, -3x is a term, and 7 is a term. So everything that is separated by those plus signs in there is a term in your expression. Like terms, well, it's the ones that are like. They either don't have a variable, both of those don't have a variable, or they do have a variable, but it's the same variable. So in this case, it's 2x and -3x, because they both have x's, and the 4y does not have a like term. Okay, so let's look at this problem right here. It says, what are the terms? Well, we're going to do that little trick I showed you a minute ago. We're going to change all the minuses to plus a negative, and it just makes it a little bit simpler, plus a negative. And now when we find our terms, well, our first term is 2x, our second term is -3, our next term is -4x, and our final term is 5. What are the constants? So again, constants are numbers that don't have a variable with them. Okay, let's go ahead and change this to plus a negative and this to plus a negative. So what are my constants? Well, the -3 is a constant and my 5 is a constant. Last, well, I'm not sure if it's last, but it could be. What are the variables? There's only one variable. Now it's written 2 times, but my variable is just x. What are the coefficients? Coefficients are the numbers that are in front of the variables. So the 2, and in this one we're going to change it to plus a negative, so it is a negative 4. The other ones don't have variables, so they are not coefficients, they're constants. Okay, now we're going to get to how do we simplify an expression. Now I've got some helpful steps over here on the side, and the first one says that we're going to change minus signs. What does that mean? Well, it's what I showed you a minute ago. We're going to go through and we're going to go plus a negative, plus a negative. Okay, after I do that, it says take care of fractions and parentheses. Well, I don't have any on this problem, so I've done step 1 and I've done step 2. Now it is identify the terms, and this is where we're going to find our like terms. Our first thing that we're going to match up is we say, okay, 2b, what matches it? What is a like? Well, it's that other b right there. Okay, so I'm going to combine 2b plus a negative b. But what is a negative b? If there's no number there, what number is it? Well, that's our little sneaky, tricky little one. We don't write ones because we just assume if you see a b, you'll know that, hey, there's one of them. Okay, so now we're going to combine those together. Okay, so 2b plus a negative 1b is going to be 1b. Now I can write that as 1b, or I can do the opposite of what I just did. I could write the 1b, or I can just write b because it's still b. Okay, next, now I chose to write it as just a b. Now we're going to find our other like terms. Okay, I have that plus a negative 3 there, and I also have a 4. Those are my two constants. So now I'm going to combine those together and get 1. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1. After I get my answer, I need to take a moment and say, okay, what's my best answer? So let's talk about what makes a best answer. Best answers are in alphabetical order. So if I look here, and I already marked it that it is the best answer, but alphabetical order. I've only got a B, so that's pretty alphabetical. Okay, so that is a check. Now it says constant at the end. Well, there's my constant at the end. No excessive symbols. So I don't want plus a negative or anything. Nope, I just got a plus sign. I'm good. And there's no 1 in front of the variable. Okay, we did have that 1 at the beginning, but we chose not to write it, so we are good. That is the best that answer can get. Okay, let's look at this problem right here. It's the same problem. I'm going to show you a different way. Not everybody likes to go through and change their pluses and minuses to plus, or their minuses to plus and negative. So I'm going to show you an alternate method. You can choose to do this way, or you can ignore it and go to kind of fast forward on this video a little bit. It's up to you. Okay, what I like to do when I solve these problems is I kind of do the same method, but I don't do the plus and negative. Instead, what I do is I draw big circles. Okay. I am taking that sign with that b right there. Now when I take that sign with it, I am saying it is 2b minus b, and I just kind of look at those circles. 2b minus b, okay? It's still b. I mean, I'm not going to get a different answer or anything, it's just another way to do it where you don't have to do the plus or negatives. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the constants, okay? So I have, and I have to take the sign with it, negative 3 plus 4. What is negative 3 plus 4? Well, it is plus 1. So again, it's still the same answer. I've got it in the right order. It is the best answer possible. It's just an alternative to doing the plus and negative. It is your choice. Here's a new problem. Okay, we're going to start with these helpful hints, and then we'll do it the other way also. Okay, first it says to change all the minus signs. What that means is I'm going to go through and I'm going to do plus a negative. Okay, so now I kind of have this, oops, I went too fast anyway. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine like terms because I didn't have any fractions or parentheses. So 1 plus a negative 25 is negative 24. I have 65m minus 24. Okay, I could have written it as plus a negative 24. In fact, I'm going to write it that way just for a moment. Okay, and I have it written right here to help me because I wanted to go over this best answers. This is a case where, hey, is it in alphabetical order? Yep. Is the constant at the end? Yep. No excessive symbols, the plus and negative. This is where, hey, let's fix that. Let's make it a better answer than what we've got right now. What I can do is I'm going to do the opposite. When I first started this problem, I did plus a negative 25. Well, let's do the opposite of that and go backwards. Instead of saying plus a negative, it's just minus 25. So what the best answer for this problem is 65m minus 24. No 1 in front of the variable. Nope, I've got a 65 in front of the variable. Okay, the second way you can do this problem, it's just another alternative. Finding your like terms without actually doing the plus and negative thing, that's great, okay? I'm going to circle my plus 1, my minus 25. And then I just kind of go in order. Positive 1 minus 25. What is positive 1 minus 25? Well, it is a negative 24. Done. Okay, now we're going to throw in some parentheses to help us with that step 2 there. Okay, step number 1, change the minus signs. Here we go, plus a negative. Take care of parentheses. How do I take care of parentheses? I'm going to do the distributive property. 3 times h is 3h. 3 times 2 is 6. Because it is a positive 6, I'm writing a plus 6. Then I have plus a negative 6h. Now I'm going to identify my terms, specifically my like terms. 3h, okay, and then I have a negative 6h. If I combine 3h plus a negative 6h together, I am going to get negative 3h. Then I have that constant that's all by itself. There's nothing to combine with it, so it is plus 6. I can't combine an h and a 6 together, so I am good. So negative 3h plus 6. I'm going to go ahead and write that on this page right here. Negative 3h plus 6. Okay, actually I meant to, no, I put the wrong thing over here. Let's do the, is it the best answer? I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself and I wrote the wrong thing over there. But do I have it in alphabetical order? Yes, I do. And do I have the constant last? Yes, I do. The other one was no excessive signs. So do I have any plus and negatives? Nope, I have a negative and I have a plus, but I don't have that plus and negative together, that double sign. And then do I have a 1 in front of the variable? I don't. So I've got a good answer there. Next, I'm going to get you started on the level 3. This isn't as far as it will go, but let's look at what this looks like. It says to simplify an expression, we want to combine like terms. So when I see this, what I can do is I can combine my 6x and my negative 12x. Well, what do I get when I combine a 6x and a negative 12x? I get negative 6x, and then I have that plus 21 there. But what do I do with that fraction? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the 3 into each part of the fraction. Okay, and I'm going to write my answer out here. What is a negative 6x divided by 3? It's negative 2x. What is a 21, sorry, I gave you the answer, divided by 3? Well, it's plus 7. So my final answer on this would be negative 2x plus 7. I'm going to show you a second way to do this problem. We can combine the like terms first, but on this one we could actually combine the like terms last also. So I just want to show you what it would look like if you did that. Okay, let's divide, if I can make my pen work, into each one of these. So 3 into 6x is going to be 2x. 3 into 21 is going to be plus 7. And then 3 into negative 12 is going to be negative 4x. Now I can combine my like terms. 2x, negative 4x, or you can change that to plus and negative 4x, which gives you negative 2x plus 7. I'm in alphabetical order. I have my constant last. Everything looks great. This problem's just a little bit different. If you notice, I used the same numbers, but I wrote it different. What is different about this problem? That negative 12x isn't in the fraction anymore. So this one, there's really only one way you can do this problem. You can't start out by combining the 6x and the negative 12x, because this is a fraction right here, and it needs to be completed first. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to divide the 3 into each of those. Well, 3 into 6x is 2x. 3 into 21 is 7, and then I don't divide the 3 into the 12x because it's not in the fraction. The fraction line ended here, so I'm just going to write minus 12x. Now I'm going to combine like terms again. I've got 2x, I've got minus 12x. You choose at this point. We're on level 3, so you should be able to choose whether you want to rewrite that or if you didn't want to rewrite that. Okay, either way, you're going to get negative 10x plus 7. On the level 4, I'm just going to get you started. I'm not going to tell you how to do the problem. It's not the same as what you do on your worksheet anyway. I'm just going to kind of help you with a starting point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in my table. It says table number 1, and it's wanting to know how many seats. Well, the seats are the dots. So how many are there? There are 3. Table number 2, how many dots? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put in a 4. Table number 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we go, 5. Now if you notice here, it's skipping a table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine, okay, well, if I were to add on to this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of draw it on here. Okay, so this would move a dot here, it would move a dot here. What do you think it's going to be? So what I can do is this dot won't be there anymore. How many dots got added on? I moved that one over and I moved that one up. There's really only one more on there, so I'm going to add out here. Table number 4 would have 6 seats. Do you see a pattern that's happening here? So what do you think table 5 would have? I'm not going to draw it. I'm just going to say, oh, well, if I followed my pattern, it would have to be 7. Okay, well, it's okay when you're doing this, but now we're jumping 5. I want to know, is there another way? Something that I could do that maybe doesn't take me drawing out this entire table or drawing out all of these triangles and dots. I don't want to do that. Okay, maybe you want to see if there's a pattern going this way that might help you. I'm not going to fill this one in for you. I just kind of want you to think about it. Is there another way that you could get to table 10? If we kept going on our pattern, let's go ahead and do it on this one. 6, 7, 8, man, I can't write this, 9, and 10. Okay, so 6, 7, then it would be 8, then it would be 9. Let's see, these match up. I think I got off here. Then it would be 10, then it would be 11, then it would be 12. So table 12, or 10, table 10 would have 12 seats. Your job is to figure out, well, what would table 100 have? Okay, so hopefully that'll help you with level 4 on your worksheet.